Revealed, how a $5 million sale transformed a little girl's life in an incredible way. Emily Martinez stood behind the counter of her family's flower shop, her heart racing as she stared at the small, worn bell hanging next to the door. It had been a rough few months. The once vibrant flower arrangements now seemed to reflect the struggle of the shop that had been part of her family's life for generations. With debts piling up and the threat of closure looming, the weight of her family's legacy felt heavier every day. But on this warm afternoon, while flipping through the local newspaper, her eyes caught a headline that shimmered like a beacon of hope: an art auction featuring a rare painting valued at $5 million. "Mom! Dad!" Emily called, excitement bubbling within her. Visions of bright blossoms danced in her head. "We have to get our arrangements showcased at this auction. It could save the shop." Her parents shared a glance, uncertainty clouding their eyes. But Emily saw the flicker of hope. Inspired by her mother's unwavering love and her father's relentless work ethic, she believed they could turn the tide. In the days that followed, whispers swept through the tight-knit community. "Did you hear? The Martinez flower shop is going under," the gossip echoed through the town. Emily felt the sting of judgment as she overheard customers talk behind her back. Every flower she arranged felt more like a piece of her heart being laid bare. Yet, with each petal she touched, Emily poured love and determination into the blooms. Could she really save the family legacy with just some flowers? Days turned into a blur of colors and fragrances as the auction's date inched closer. Each time she crafted an arrangement, Emily could envision who might buy it, each imagined smile bringing renewed hope. But then came the chilling arrival of a local businessman known for his cutthroat deals. He intended to swoop in and buy the painting, ready to exploit its value for mere profit, dismissing its cultural significance to the town. Emily felt her heart tremble. How could something so beautiful be reduced to just a dollar sign? Standing in front of a mirror one evening, she practiced what she would say at the town hall meeting. "We need to support each other. Our businesses matter," she murmured. She took a deep breath, her small hands trembling. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The town hall was packed. Emily stood at the front, her voice quavering but fierce. "It's not just about profits. It's about community," she declared, staring into the sea of eyes fixated on her. As she spoke, her emotions bubbled over: fear, hope, love. The crowd gasped, the air shimmered with tension. At that moment, Emily understood something profound. Her flower arrangements weren't just blooms, they were symbols of resilience. The stakes had never felt so high. Could the collective heart of the community rise with her, or would the shadows of doubt snuff out their dreams like wilting petals? As she gazed out at their faces, a single thought gripped her tightly: would their determination be enough to breathe life back into the floundering shop, or would it wither in the garden of despair? The murmurs in the town hall began to settle, but Emily could feel the weight of silence pressing down on her heart. She searched the crowd, her hopeful eyes meeting familiar faces: friends, neighbors, and even those who had whispered in hushed tones about the shop's impending doom. This was not just about her family's flower business anymore, it was about everyone who had ever poured their heart into their craft, their community, their lives. Together, we can show the world the importance of our artistry. She continued, her voice gaining strength: these flowers represent our history, our memories, and our dreams. They stand for every piece of love we've put into our lives and into this community. If we let someone buy this painting just for profit, we lose what makes us who we are." A ripple of emotion flowed through the audience. Emily noticed a few heads nodding, someone in the back wiping away a tear. The feeling swelled inside her like fireworks lighting up a night sky. Would they hear her? Would they understand? Suddenly, a booming voice interrupted. "And what exactly do you expect us to do, Emily? Throw all our money at flowers?" It was Mr. Hawthorne, the businessman she dreaded. The crowd murmured at his words, the air crackling with tension that made her stomach twist. "I'm not asking for money," Emily replied, swallowing hard. "I'm asking for belief. Belief in each other. If we come together, maybe we can gather enough support to promote our small businesses, bring life back to this town. Let us hold fundraisers, art shows. Anything." A spark ignited in her heart, and as she spoke, she grew more animated. "What's our community worth if we don't fight for it?" A soft voice broke through the gloom. Angela, a local artist, stood up with her paint-specked overalls. "Emily's right. We've stood by each other during tough times before. It's time we do it again. I'd like to offer my art to be a part of the auction along with Emily's flowers." The crowd erupted into applause, the sound echoing like a gust of wind that lifts weary souls. Emily felt hope surge through her. One voice turned into two, and soon others were joining in, each with their own ideas, their own offerings. An old baker promised to contribute pastries, a local musician suggested live performances, and a tailor spoke of crafting a unique dress for the event. The energy in the room shifted from despair to determination. Emily's heart raced. She could hardly believe what she was witnessing. This was not just a fight to save her shop, this was a revival, a new chapter for the entire community. She looked at her parents, pride swelling in their expressions. As the plans took shape, a new vision bloomed within her mind. If they were going to stand together, she would need to harness that collective energy, turning it into something magical. But what if they failed? What if all of this wasn't enough to take down Mr. Hawthorne or to keep their beloved shops afloat? That night, as she lay in bed, her mind whirled. She could hear the whispers from days past, the doubts that still lingered like shadows in her heart. Could she lead them through to victory, or would she collapse under the weight of expectation? A fleeting thought crossed her mind: what if saving their community meant sacrificing something personal, something she didn't even fully understand yet? Just then, the phone buzzed on her bedside table, breaking the silence. It was a new email notification. Tension coiled in her chest. What could it possibly be about? With a deep breath, she decided she had to look. This could change everything. But as she opened the email, her heart skipped a beat. What awaited her on the screen could either make or break everything they had worked for. What was it that could shift their fate one more time? Emily stared at the screen, her heart thudding wildly in her chest. The email header glowed like some ominous beacon. She could hardly believe the words as she read on. "We'd like to offer your flower shop $10,000 to feature your arrangements in an upcoming gala. The event will be under the eyes of top buyers and designers." A wild mix of emotions flooded through her. This could be the lifeline she had been hoping for. But then, just as quickly, doubt crept in. Was this help from the outside world? Or just another way to take away the soul of her community by separating them yet again? $10,000 felt like a fortune, yet was it worth the price of their unity? She set her phone down, a bead of sweat trickling down her back. Could she really consider such an offer? Part of her screamed to decline and focus on their collective efforts. But another side, the part that worried about her parents and the shop's future, whispered that taking it could give them a chance at survival. Sleep evaded her that night as thoughts swirled like a tempest. Images of the town hall meeting haunted her. The way people had stood together, it had felt so hopeful. She was unwilling to sacrifice that bond for cash. The next day dawned bright and filled with promise. Emily met Angela at the cafe, the aroma of fresh coffee wrapping around them like a warm embrace. "You look deep in thought," Angela said, her eyes curious. "I got an email last night," Emily sighed. "They want to feature my flowers for a gala and they're offering a lot of money." Angela's eyes widened. "That's incredible. You could save the shop. But at what cost? Emily's voice trembled. I don't want our community to feel abandoned, or worse, see it as a way to profit off our art without celebrating it. Angela nodded slowly, considering her words. So, you're thinking of rejecting it? I think I should, Emily replied, her heart aching. But what if I'm making a mistake? What if I end up ruining everything by holding back the chance for our dream to survive? Suddenly, there was a clattering noise from the back of the cafe where many community members often gathered. It was Mr. Hawthorne, a smirk plastered on his face as he entered. He clocked Emily and Angela with a dismissive glance before heading to the counter. A surge of anger bubbled within Emily. Why did he have to show up now? Do you see that? Emily whispered furiously to Angela. He thrives on the idea that we're struggling. He wants to buy out anything we have left. I don't want to give him the satisfaction of failing. Before they could continue their conversation, Mr. Hawthorne turned, a glint in his eye as his voice boomed through the cafe. I hear there's a failure festival brewing in town. How quaint. No one wants flowers, darling. They want profits. You'd be smarter to jump ship. Emily's hands tightened into fists on the table. Angela looked at her, wide-eyed with sympathy. Emily's blood boiled, but she found her voice. But what he doesn't understand is we're not just fighting a business. We're fighting for our spirit. Angela nodded with determination. Then let us remind him what art, community, and resilience look like. That afternoon, Emily gathered with others, igniting another wave of inspiration. They decided to use the offer as inspiration rather than a defeat. They would throw an art gala of their own, a local event that showcased everything their shops represented. A fundraiser that would not only keep them afloat but bring life back to their town. As they formulated their plans, a thought struck Emily once more. Could they truly rally enough excitement and support? If this was to be their defining moment, they had to believe and put their hearts into it fully. There was no holding back, but just as hope began weaving its way through Emily's spirit again, her phone buzzed once more and she couldn't ignore the unease creeping back in. This time, it was a message from someone she hadn't expected. Perhaps the answer she needed was closer than she thought. What could possibly change her path yet again? Emily's heart raced as she opened the message. It was from an old friend, Sarah, someone she hadn't talked to in years. The word seemed to jump off the screen, a flurry of excitement wrapped in urgency. I heard about the gala you're planning at the shop. I have access to some influential contacts. Can we chat? I think we can make something amazing happen. Could this be the opportunity she truly needed? Her fingers hovered above the keys, hesitation creeping in again. It felt like fate knocking on her door. If Sarah could help bring more attention to their cause, perhaps they could create a real impact without sacrificing their integrity. Everything okay? Angela asked, peering over her shoulder. I think I need to meet her, Emily whispered, a spark igniting within her. Sounds like a plan. Let us see what she offers, Angela encouraged, her eyes shining with hope. Emily quickly typed back a response, arranging to meet Sarah later that week. As she put her phone down, she felt a flood of optimism wash over her. Maybe they could harness that $10,000 offer and turn it into something bigger. Over the next few days, the town buzzed with the news of Emily's grand gala plan. Flyers went up in windows, and the locals spread the word. Each conversation brought a new wave of support. You've got this, Emily. People said, their words wrapping around her like a warm blanket. Then came the fateful day of meeting with Sarah. They met at the old diner, the kind that smelled of bacon and coffee, with walls covered in snapshots of the town's past. Sarah walked in, her presence filling the space with an infectious energy. They hugged quickly, both aware of the years that had slipped by. Let us get down to business, Sarah said, leaning forward, her eyes bright with enthusiasm. I want to help you promote this gala. Local media, social media campaigns, you name it. I have connections to buyers and followers who would really care about supporting an event like this. Emily's heart soared. But can we ensure this remains a community affair? I don't want this turning into a money-making venture. It needs to be for us. Sarah smiled knowingly. That's exactly why I'm here. We want to highlight your vision, your flowers, the heart of your community. Think of it as a revival, a celebration of everything that is so special about your shop. We can do this together. As they fleshed out ideas and strategies, Emily felt her doubts melting away. They spoke of local artisans, musicians, and how to involve the town's people, making it not just an event, but a movement. They acknowledged the struggles but saw them as a backdrop for something extraordinary to rise from, but just as the excitement reached a crescendo, a chill ran down Emily's spine. What if Mr. Hawthorne gets wind of this? What if he tries to sabotage us? Sarah shrugged, her expression calm. Let him try. There's strength in numbers, Em. And you have an entire town ready to fight for this. Disconnected from negativity, Emily felt determined. It was time to mobilize the community behind her not only for survival but for pride. As they left the diner, ideas bouncing back and forth, Emily glanced at her phone one last time. Another message. This one read, I'm in. Let's make it something unforgettable. She stared at it in disbelief. Suddenly, a wave of uncertainty crashed into her mind. Was she getting in over her head? An air of excitement mixed with fear filled Emily's chest as she walked home. The atmosphere buzzed with possibility, but could she withstand the pressure and keep true to her heart? Many were counting on her. The gala was more than just an event, it felt like an awakening, a chance to redefine who they were. But as the days drew closer, so did the lurking shadows of doubt. How far would she have to go to protect the heart of her community? And what if the fight wasn't just against Mr. Hawthorne, but something much bigger than that? Emily lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling. Each passing car outside felt like a reminder of the ticking clock. The gala was just days away, and whispers of their effort were swelling throughout the town. But what if the weight of expectation crushed her? What if all her dreams crumbled into dust when the lights dimmed, the music played, and people walked through her doors? Morning arrived with a bright sun, but even its warmth couldn't shake the chill running through her veins. She threw herself into her routine, but behind every arrangement of flowers, every flurry of preparations, doubt lurked like an unwanted guest. Angela swept in with coffee and a smile. You look like you've seen a ghost. What is going on? Emily took a deep breath, forcing a smile, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. It's just the gala, you know. What if it all falls apart? I don't want to disappoint anyone. Angela placed a comforting hand on Emily's shoulder. You won. You're stronger than you think, and this community believes in you. Just look at the support you've been receiving. She knew Angela was right. The people were behind her. Friends, neighbors, familiar faces from the grocery store, all eager to help. Flyers adorned almost every shop window, the local radio buzzed about it, and smiles greeted her wherever she went. Still, the idea of failing gnawed at her. Later that day, as she arranged bouquets, a sudden thought struck her. What if she invited those who had supported her to help with the event? A community address. She could create a platform for sharing their stories, their hopes. It could mean involvement beyond just attending a gala. It would mean standing together. Angela. She called excitedly, her previous worries fading. What if we held a community meeting? Invite everyone to share their story and plans for the gala? Build more connections? Angela's eyes sparkled as she nodded. That's it. Make it more than just a party. Let people shine. Give them a sense of ownership. They'll feel more invested that way. With renewed energy, Emily began drafting a plan. A meeting that would encourage participation, not just attendance. She wanted everyone to feel like they had a stake in this event, a part of creating something beautiful. The following evening, they set up chairs outside the shop under twinkling string lights. It felt magical. Each flicker seemed to mirror the excitement building inside her. As people gathered, she noticed faces lit with anticipation, eyes filled with hope. "Thanks for coming, everyone." Emily spoke, her voice steady but warm. "This isn't just my gala. It's ours. I want to hear your thoughts, your dreams. Let us make this a moment for our town." One after another, voices rose to share ideas. A local musician proposed an open mic section, while a florist friend suggested a flower arranging competition. Laughter and enthusiasm filled the air, wiping away the lingering shadows of doubt, but then amid their lively chatter, she noticed someone standing at the back. His face was familiar, but his presence felt heavy. Mr. Hawthorne. Just as she felt the tension rise, he stepped forward, his eyes cold and assessing. "What a lovely gathering! If only it were enough to make a real difference," he smirked, the words cutting through the air. Emily's heart dropped, her stomach twisting. Would he be the storm to their sunshine? And what role would he play in this fight for her community? As his gaze pierced through the gathering, Emily felt the clamor of doubt creeping back. What was she truly up against, and could they withstand his influence? The gala was fast approaching, and now, the stakes felt higher than ever. The air hung thick with tension, and Emily felt every heartbeat racing through her chest. Mr. Hawthorne's sardonic smile sent a chill spiraling down her spine. She quickly scanned the faces of her neighbors, searching for reassurance. But the warmth from their earlier excitement had dimmed, casting little shadows of worry instead. "Mr. Hawthorne," she managed, her voice quaking slightly, "this is a chance for everyone to come together. We're trying to make a difference, to create something beautiful for our community." He leaned in, his expression unreadable, and chose his words carefully. "Beautiful things can be fleeting, Emily. A gala won't change the underlying issues we face. Are you really prepared for that?" Her jaw tightened, and she forced back the wave of frustration swelling within her. She was tired of his negativity. Everyone deserves a chance to share their dreams. This is about hope. Isn't that worth something? The small crowd held its breath, eyes flickering back and forth between her and Hawthorne. The challenge hung in the air, daring her to back down. But Emily found her footing. "Imagine if we could inspire even one person, if we could uplift our town, Mr. Hawthorne. Isn't that worth fighting for?" His eyes narrowed, but before he could respond, Angela let out a soft laugh that broke the rising tension. "Isn't that exactly what we're doing? Standing up for our community? Come on, Mr. Hawthorne, isn't this the best kind of business? One that builds and strengthens?" A few heads nodded in agreement, igniting a flicker of hope in Emily's chest. Mr. Hawthorne shifted uncomfortably, the smirk fading. Perhaps, he relented, albeit grudgingly, but it'll take more than a pretty party to carve a new path forward. Emily seized the moment, her voice rising in fervor. "You're right. It'll take hard work, and we're all prepared for that. We're here to dream big, and we'll do it together. That's what we've been called to do." Before a response could follow, one of their older neighbors, Mrs. Nettles, spoke up. "I remember when this town came together for the annual Harvest Festival. It brought life and hope. It gave us a place to gather and share our joys." As she spoke, encouragement grew like vines around them. Voices layered upon voices, rekindling the spirit of community that had been overshadowed by doubt. People began sharing personal stories of youth lost, of family struggles and moments of victories, big and small. Emily felt the warmth flowing back into the gathering as laughter and storytelling created a cocoon of togetherness. The worries that had clung to her began to untangle, piece by piece. As night enveloped the gathering, Emily stood back and watched as connections sparked like fireflies dancing in the gloom. She thought of her earlier fears and the dimming light she had sensed from Hawthorne. Yes, they had their work cut out for them, but now it felt doable. Yet, as the night wrapped around their little community, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that Mr. Hawthorne wouldn't simply back off. There was more to him, more layers to unravel. As she drifted away from the crowd, pondering the unexpected challenge, she noticed Hawthorne lingering by the edge of the event, his arms crossed, his demeanor observant and unyielding. Just what else was he planning? And how far would he go to prove his point? Emily felt the weight of the night on her shoulders, the shadows of doubt still circling. Would their dreams hold up against the real threat? Tomorrow would bring new questions, and she feared they might unravel yet another layer of this complex battle for her town's heart. The morning sun peeked through the curtains, casting a warm glow in Emily's kitchen. She was already awake, her mind buzzing with the memories of last night. The laughter, the stories, the rekindled spirit of her neighbors, it all felt like a dream. But reality was a stubborn visitor, reminding her of Mr. Hawthorne's chilling demeanor and the looming threat he represented. Breakfast was a quiet affair, just Emily and the scent of freshly brewed coffee. Still, her thoughts were miles away. She stared into her cup, picturing the faces of those who had shared their dreams at the gathering. The feeling of unity was palpable. But the shadow of uncertainty loomed over her, darkening the bright morning. As she busied herself with the morning routine, Emily resolved to take action. If their community spirit was to thrive, they needed a plan. She grabbed her notebook and began scribbling ideas for the gala. Each stroke of the pen felt like lifting a weight. She envisioned colorful decorations, music that would stir memories, food that reminded everyone of home. Suddenly, a knock at the door pulled her from her thoughts. She opened it to find Angela, her eyes wide with excitement. "Emily! You won't believe what I've just heard." With a sigh of relief, Emily invited her friend in. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "What is it?" "Word gets around fast in this town," Angela began, her voice full of energy. "Everyone was buzzing about the gala last night. People want to help. I think we can gather enough volunteers to make this happen, but what about Hawthorne?" Emily interjected, a knot tightening in her stomach. "He won't give up easily." Angela waved her hand dismissively. "Let him try. We've got the people's support. He might think he can put an end to our dreams, but we won't let him steal this hope. We'll show him what community really means." With those words, the determination inside Emily reignited. Together, they began planning a gathering of volunteers. More and more people filtered in throughout the day, each bringing not just their hands, but enthusiasm and heart. They painted banners, planned activities, and discussed ways to raise funds. The thrill in the air was electric, and Emily felt a sense of belonging wash over her. But amid the laughter and planning, a small voice in her head whispered doubt. Hawthorne hadn't been silent, and she knew he was always a few steps ahead. Before the day ended, Emily decided to reach out to some of the local businesses. Perhaps they could be persuaded to contribute. She made a list, her heart racing at the thought of approaching them. There was a risk, of course. What if they turned her away? But she understood now that her dreams were tied not just to her own aspirations but to everyone's hopes in that room. Later that night, as she lay in bed, the weight of the decision pressed on her. Would people step up for her? Would they truly believe her? And then there was Hawthorne, lurking in the background, a wolf among the sheep. As uncertainty danced in her mind, her phone buzzed an unexpected message. It was from Mr. Hawthorne, stark and cold but with just enough intrigue. "I hope you're prepared for the storm that's coming, Emily. I'll be waiting for you." A chill ran up her spine. What did he mean? Tomorrow would be a challenge. She needed to face not just her neighbors, but the looming threat the man represented. The fight for her community was just beginning, but she had every intention of standing firm. Would the support of her friends be enough to face the storm brewing on the horizon? As that question settled into her heart, she understood a truth: they would either rise together or fall apart. The sun crept over the horizon as the day of reckoning arrived. Emily's heart raced in sync with the rhythmic ticking of the kitchen clock. Each tick felt like a countdown, a signal that her next step was right around the corner. She took a deep breath, her resolve hardening. She tightened her apron, a symbolic armor against the storm that Mr. Hawthorne threatened. Today, her mission was clear: she would visit each local business, pouring her heart into a plea for support. The community needed to feel the vibrancy of everything they could create together. They needed to see the vision she had, one that sparkled with hope and camaraderie. Emily stepped out into the cool morning air, the smell of dew-kissed grass filling her lungs. With each step toward Main Street, she recalled the faces of her neighbors who shared their dreams the night before. No, she wouldn't let fear paralyze her. She wouldn't let Hawthorne's darkness extinguish the light they had ignited. The first stop was Anna's Bakery, a quaint shop with a charming bell that jingled softly as she pushed the door open. The comforting aroma of freshly baked bread wrapped around her like a hug. Anna, with her warm smile and flour-dusted apron, greeted Emily with genuine excitement. "Emily! What brings you here this early?" Determined, Emily spoke as her heart swelled. "Anna, I need your help. We're planning a community gala to rally everyone together. Would you be interested in donating some baked goods? It could bring us all closer." Anna's eyes sparkled with interest. "Of course. I'll prepare my specialty cookies. Anything for the community." With a sense of accomplishment, Emily moved on, each visit firing her spirit higher. At the thrift shop, Mr. Thompson offered to contribute items for a raffle. The hardware store chipped in tools for event preparation. After every encounter, hope swelled within her, but the specter of Hawthorne's threat still lingered, taunting her thoughts. As noon approached, Emily felt a surge of excitement. They were building something magnificent. Yet, a shadow lurked, reminding her of the email he had sent. It was unnerving. What would he do next? Just as she started to feel invincible, her phone buzzed again. This time it was a photo. The image froze her in her tracks. It was a picture of the gala location, but not just any image. This one was marred with graffiti that read, "Give up, Emily. You're wasting your time." She felt sick. The laughing faces of her neighbors from the night before dimmed in her mind. Was this the unity she craved? Hawthorne was relentless, attacking the very heart of their endeavor. What if they turned against her? What if they saw the chaos he wanted them to see? Her breath quickened, but just then, her phone chimed once more. This time, it was a group message with all the volunteers. "I believe in you, Emily. We're doing this together. Can't wait to meet up later. Let us show Hawthorne he can't break us." Each message felt like a shield. It was a rallying cry that clashed against her fears. She was not alone. As the harbingers of support flooded in, Emily felt the weight lifting. She realized the storm they faced was going to come anyway, but how they weathered it would define everything. Was the community ready to stand their ground against the impending storm? Would they unite, or would fear tear them apart? With resolve, she typed back, "Together, we're unstoppable." The question hung in the air: would their resolve withstand the storm mounted against them? Emily silenced the echoes of doubt, but Hawthorne's lingering menace was insistent, refusing to fade. Emily paced outside the thrift shop, the warmth of the sun on her back somehow grounding her in the moment. Nourished by the flickering hope she had gathered along the way, she felt an undeniable urge to push that hope further, to face Hawthorne's threats head-on. Each word of encouragement from her friends rang in her ears, propelling her forward. As she stepped back onto the sidewalk, determined to conquer the further reaches of Main Street, a gentle breeze brushed her face, as if the universe itself was sending her strength. The next stop was Joe's Hardware, a storied place filled with familiar tools and welcoming faces. "Emily! You're back!" Joe called out from behind the counter. The twinkle in his eye matched the laughter of the community that frequented his store. "Hey, Joe! I need your help for the gala." Can we count on you for some supplies? She asked, meeting his gaze with confidence. Of course. You know I love supporting this community. Just tell me what you need. His response lit her up inside. With each agreement and each yes, she wanted to scream and dance, but deep down, a faint dread crowded her joy. What was Hawthorne plotting? Did he have something that could unravel everything she was building? With the afternoon sun hanging high, she continued her journey, visiting every shop on Main Street, the flower store, the diner, even the little bookstore she used to visit as a child. Every business owner understood what was at stake. They all stood by her, eyes glimmering with shared purpose. Don't worry, Emily, we're in this together. May, the owner of the flower shop, assured her as they wrapped floral arrangements for the event. But as Emily returned to the street, her heart still fluttered with anxiety. Could they uphold this collective spirit when Hawthorne's influence loomed so heavily? Suddenly, her phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message from Sarah, a local artist who had offered to create decorations for the gala. I heard from Anna that Hawthorne's been spreading negativity about the event. Don't let it get to you. You have a whole community behind you. Reading Sarah's words ignited something deep within Emily. She had fought through loneliness and despair before. But now, she had others picking her up, like fireflies in the dark, lighting the way. Intending to harness that strength, she resolved to organize a meeting in the park later that evening. As dusk slid in, the park filled with families and friends. Excited laughter floated around as Emily faced those gathered, every line of worry on her face melting away. Thank you all for showing up. This gala is going to be a promise of unity and resilience. She felt the energy shift as people nodded, some shouted out words of encouragement. But just as hope enveloped her, a shadow fell over the gathering. A figure appeared at the edge of the park. Mr. Hawthorne, arms crossed, a smirk stretching across his face. I see the little dreamers gathered here, he called out with a mocking voice, his presence sucking the warmth from the air. Emily's heart dropped. Was it the fear of what he might say? Or the realization that her community was now on the line? She took a deep breath, channeling every ounce of courage she had. Don't let him intimidate you. Someone shouted from the crowd. The challenge was clear. Would they stand up against this storm? Would they show Hawthorne that together they were unbreakable? Emily clenched her fists, determined to lead them through this confrontation. The bonds forged today were powerful, and they needed to shine through. But deep down, awareness flickered. What was his next move? How would this end? With her eyes locked on Hawthorne, she felt the weight of uncertainty swirl around her. The night of the gala had finally arrived. Emily stood at the entrance of the transformed flower shop, her heart thundering with excitement and trepidation. Twinkling lights wrapped around the greenery outside, illuminating everything like stars waking up to watch. Each flower arrangement was a labor of love, a beautiful representation of her community's resilience. She took a moment to breathe it all in, the familiar sense, the soft laugh bubbling inside her. It was everything she had fought for. As the clock inched toward 7, familiar faces began pouring in. The cozy warmth of her shop was filled with laughter and joy as people mingled. Music sprouted life, filling the air, casting away shadows and doubt. Emily's heart swelled as she witnessed the spirit of camaraderie in each shared smile, but in the back of her mind lurked the reminder of Mr. Hawthorne, the threat that had followed her every step. Could there really be enough unity to outshine his cutting remarks? Suddenly, the doors swung open, and in walked Hawthorne himself, his trademark smirk plastered across his face. It was as if he were a dark cloud, determined to eclipse their hard-earned joy. "Fancy a party, are we?" he shouted, his voice dripping with disdain. "Let us see if these flowers can save you from the reality of failure." Emily felt the crowd tense, but she stepped forward, shoulders squared. "What we have here is more than just flowers, Mr. Hawthorne. This is our community standing strong. If you can't see the beauty in that, perhaps you've lost touch with what truly matters." A murmur of agreement rippled through those surrounding her. Emily's heart raced, the energy fueling her resolve. "What a nice fairy tale you've spun," he countered, but Emily noticed uncertainty flickering in his eyes. He glanced around, possibly realizing this wasn't the same timid town he had encountered before. "It's not a fairy tale," she argued back. "It's our reality. We've come together to lift each other up, to create something beautiful, and to show that we will not be silenced." Encouraged murmurs filled the air, voices of her neighbors rising in support. "We won back down," they echoed, affirming Emily's courage. The atmosphere thickened with determination, the collective power thrumming like a heartbeat. Seeing the tide shift, a sudden and unexpected change sprouted from within Emily. "You can choose to fight us, Mr. Hawthorne, or you can join us," she declared with a fierce light in her eyes. "Our community is about hope, about dreams, not profits. We're not afraid of the hard work it takes to build something beautiful. And we won't let you take that away from us." Hawthorne's facade faltered as the unwavering spirit from the crowd washed over him. "This is just a temporary illusion," he scoffed, but his voice wavered. Was he losing ground? Emily kept her gaze steady. A temporary illusion? Or a lasting change? Your power crumbles before the strength of togetherness. If there's one thing you fueled, it's our desire to stand tall. So, choose your side wisely. The energy turned electric, like a powerful storm gathering strength. And suddenly, it seemed that the darkness that had once enveloped her dreams was now merely a backdrop to the light they were creating. As murmurs of agreement danced among the crowd, Emily felt the bond of her community wrap around her like a warm embrace. Then, with renewed vigor, she shared heartfelt stories capturing the spirit of love that had transformed the shop. Each tale resonated, pulling on the heartstrings of everyone present. They spoke of the friendships formed, the lives touched, the hope rekindled. When the last story ended, Emily invited everyone to make a pledge of support. "Tonight, let us create a new chapter, one of co-creation and collaboration." As they took turns sharing their commitments, from promises of donations to pledges of participation in future projects, the wave of encouragement surged. With each commitment, the energy in the room shifted once more. Excitement overtook fear, and in that moment, Emily felt like a lighthouse, standing guard against a storm. She remembered all the doubts she had faced and how, together with her community, they were crafting something incredible. The reality she had once feared flipped into a future ablaze with hope. That night would be one marked in the history of their town. A collective force rising together, the fearlessly hopeful tearing away the grip of doubt and darkness. As Emily looked around, she realized that even if Hawthorne's threat lingered, they had the power to rise above. They would not just survive, they would thrive, bound by friendship, strength, and resilience. As the night danced on and the last chuckles were exchanged, Emily raised her glass for a toast. "Here's to us, to our flowers, our stories, and the dreams we will keep alive together." Laughter and cheers erupted through the shop, warm laughter swirling into the crisp night air, growing roots deep into their shared soil. In that moment of pure unity, a sense of peace settled over Emily. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew her heart was safe with her community. Now more than ever, she understood that dreams were meant to blossom when nurtured together, one that marked a new beginning, one beautiful flower at a time. Subscribers, this is your call to action. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your engagement fuels our passion. Also, comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. What does community mean to you? Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. True fans know how important it is to amplify these connections.